Hey, deep dive listeners.
Yeah.
Ever look at like a massive solar farm and think, I want to be a part of that?
It's a growing field.
Today we're diving into how to become a renewable energy consultant, or at least how to ace the interview.
Yeah, it's not just about knowing the science behind renewable energy. It's
Yeah.
also about, really understanding the industry and how to present yourself as the ideal candidate.
So imagine you've got a stack of resumes.
Right.
What's going to make a renewable energy consultant stand out?
Well, I think passion is a big one,
Okay.
but it's not just enough to say, "Oh, I love the earth."
Yeah.
You need to show them that you're truly invested in this field, you understand the challenges, and you're excited about the potential.
Okay, so less I love hugging trees,
Yeah.
more I know how to power a city sustainably.
Exactly. Show them you're informed and ready to hit the ground running.
Got it. Let's talk about the interview itself.
Hmm.
RoleCatcher's Guide has some really interesting sample questions.
Okay.
The first one is, what inspired you to pursue a career in renewable energy consulting? Seems like a softball question, but is there something more to it?
It seems simple, but you'd be surprised how many people fumble it.
Right?
They want to know you're not just chasing a paycheck, they want to see what lights your fire. So instead of giving a generic answer, talk about a specific project, a news story, something that really resonated with you. Was it that massive offshore wind farm, or maybe a community solar project? Something to show you're paying attention to the field.
It's like, I'm not here for just any job. I'm here for this job.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that. The next question is about staying current. How do you stay up to date with the latest trends and developments in renewable energy?
Mm.
Because, I mean, it's a fast-moving field.
Oh, absolutely. This field moves at the speed of light.
Yeah.
So you've got to show them that you're committed to continuous learning. And don't just give the obvious answers like, oh, I read industry magazines.
Right.
Go deeper. Talk about specific thought leaders you follow. Are you part of any online forums where professionals exchange ideas? Do you attend webinars? That kind of thing.
It's about showing that you're not just keeping up, you're ahead of the curve.
Exactly.
I like it.
Okay.
All right, time for a tougher one from the guide. What renewable energy technologies are you most familiar with, and how have you applied that knowledge?
Ooh, yeah, now we're getting into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, this is where the rubber meets the road.
Absolutely. They want to see the depth of your knowledge here. Pick a few technologies that you are genuinely excited about and then talk about them. And don't just list facts from a textbook. Connect it to your own
So
experiences.
it's like I haven't just read about solar panels. I actually, built a mini solar array in my backyard.
Exactly. Hands-on experience speaks volumes.
I love it. Okay, now a big one that I think a lot of people are thinking about these days. How do you balance the economic feasibility of a renewable energy project with its environmental impact?
It's a balancing act. You can't just focus on one or the other.
Right. It's like the classic dilemma. Can you save the planet and still make a profit?
It's a question a lot of people are grappling with, and they want to see that you understand that complexity.
So how do you answer that in an interview?
Talk about the triple bottom line: people, planet, and profit. Can you think of a project that successfully achieved all three?
That's a good one. What would be a good example to have up my sleeve for that?
Well, think about a community solar farm. Not only does it reduce carbon emissions, but it can create local jobs and offer more stable energy prices for residents. That's hitting all three.
Local and relevant. I like it.
Exactly.
Okay, this next question is all about people skills. What strategies do you use to engage stakeholders and build support for renewable energy projects? Because let's be real, not everyone is going to be thrilled about a wind turbine in their backyard.
Oh, absolutely. You're going to encounter some resistance.
Yeah.
This is where your communication skills come in. Talk about your approach to getting people on board. Do you prioritize community meetings? Do you use data and visuals to communicate the project's benefits? Do you address their concerns head on?
It's about bringing people along on the journey,
Exactly.
not just like forcing it upon them.
You got it. Building trust is key.
Okay, love that.
Hey.
Now let's talk about the bottom line. This next question is all about the money.
Okay, yeah.
How do you evaluate the financial viability of a renewable energy project, and what metrics do you use to measure its success? Because at the end of the day, numbers matter.
Absolutely. You have to speak their language.
Right.
Don't be afraid to mention financial models, like calculating the net present value or the internal rate of return. But the key is to connect those metrics to real-world outcomes.
So Instead of saying I'd calculate the net present value, I should say something like, by using net present value calculations, I can determine if this solar project will save the school district enough money to, like, build a new library in 5 years.
Now you're talking. You're telling a story with those numbers.
I like it. A story with, like, a happy ending where everybody wins.
Exactly.
All right, before we jump into the next question, I want to quickly mention something that I think can be a game changer in this whole interview process.
Okay.
RoleCatcher. It's not just about prepping for general questions. It's about tailoring your answers to specific jobs and companies.
Oh, such a valuable tool for that.
Tell me more about how that works, because that sounds really helpful.
Well, you can actually paste a job description into RoleCatcher, and it uses AI to pull out the key skills and experience that the company is looking for. Then, when you practice your answers, it'll give you feedback on whether you're hitting those keywords and really showcasing the right parts of your experience.
So you're not just hoping you're saying the right things, you actually know that you are.
Exactly. It's like having a secret weapon.
I love that.
Okay.
Okay, back to interview prep. How do you ensure that renewable energy projects are compliant with regulatory requirements and environmental standards?
Ah, yes, the legal side of sustainability.
Because saving the planet shouldn't mean breaking the law, right?
Absolutely not.
So what do you say to that?
This is where you get to show off your knowledge of permits, regulations, environmental impact assessments, all that good stuff. Mention specific agencies like the EPA or your local equivalent to show you're not just aware of the rules, you're ready to navigate them.
Because knowing the rules of the game is just as important as playing the game itself.
Right. And it shows you're thinking about the long-term success of the project.
Love it. Okay, deep breaths, everyone, because here comes the question we all dread. What challenges have you faced in your work or studies, even, and how have you overcome them?
The classic, tell me about a time you failed, question in disguise.
Right, but disguised is a challenge.
Exactly. And the key here is to choose a challenge that's relevant to the role and highlights your problem-solving skills.
So don't talk about the time you accidentally dyed your laundry pink.
Unless you can connect it to color coding solar panel installations or something.
Okay, fair enough. But seriously, what are they really looking for with this question?
They want to see how you handle setbacks, how you think critically under pressure, and how you learn from your mistakes. Because, let's be real, everyone makes mistakes. It's how you bounce back that matters.
So don't just describe the challenge, walk them through your thought process.
Exactly. Did you have to get creative with resources? Did you have to persuade a skeptical team member? The more detail you provide, the more genuine and impactful your story will be.
It's like turning a potential interview pitfall into a shining example of your ingenuity.
Exactly. It's all about framing your experiences in a positive light.
Okay, next question, and this one's all about project management. How do you ensure that renewable energy projects are completed on time and within budget?
The art of juggling timelines and spreadsheets.
Right, because time is money, and nobody wants a half-built solar farm gathering dust.
Exactly. This is where your organizational skills and attention to detail really shine. But don't just rattle off project management buzzwords.
We don't want to hear about synergy and paradigm shifts.
Not unless you can connect them to actual renewable energy outcomes. Instead, share a specific example of how you've successfully kept a project on track. Maybe you identified a potential delay early on and implemented a workaround. Or perhaps you had to get creative with resource allocation to stay within budget.
It's like you're a renewable energy ninja, anticipating obstacles and striking them down before they become major issues.
Exactly. Show them you're proactive and solution-oriented.
I love it. Okay, one last question from RoleCatcher's Guide. And this one feels particularly relevant in today's world. How do you see the increasing demand for energy storage impacting the future of renewable energy consulting?
Now, that's a question designed to separate the casual observer from the true industry insider. It's no secret that energy storage is becoming increasingly crucial for integrating renewable energy sources into the grid.
Makes sense. The sun doesn't always shine, the wind doesn't always blow, so we need a way to store that energy for when we need it most.
Exactly. And that's where your expertise as a consultant comes in. You'll be advising clients on the best storage solutions for their needs, factoring in everything from cost and efficiency to environmental impact and regulatory hurdles.
So it's almost like being a matchmaker for renewable energy and energy storage, finding the perfect pairing to create a sustainable energy future.
I love that analogy. It's about finding the right fit for each client and each project.
This is why staying ahead of the curve is so crucial in this field. Speaking of which, I wanted to circle back to RoleCatcher for a moment. It's not just about prepping for these general questions, right? It can actually help you throughout your career journey.
Absolutely. Think of it as your career-long companion. As you gain experience and consider different career paths, you can use RoleCatcher to research different roles, tailor your resume and cover letter to specific companies, and even practice your interviewing skills for those coveted senior-level positions.
It's like having a career coach in your pocket, always there to provide insights, guidance, and that extra boost of confidence when you need it most. And let's be real, we can all use a little extra confidence boost sometimes, especially when navigating the ever-evolving world of renewable energy.
Couldn't agree more. But that's what makes this field so exciting. It's dynamic, challenging, and ultimately incredibly rewarding.
Okay, so we've covered a ton of ground today. From those nitty-gritty interview questions to the bigger picture of career paths in renewable energy.
It's a field brimming with opportunity, and not just because everyone's suddenly realizing that, yes, the sun and wind are pretty powerful. We're talking serious growth potential, fascinating technology, and the chance to, help save the planet.
No pressure. But seriously, for someone just dipping their toes into these waters, what's the one piece of advice you'd give to really stand out in this field?
Don't underestimate the power of networking. Connect with people in the industry, attend conferences, even if it's just virtually at first. You never know when a conversation could spark a new interest or open a door to an opportunity you hadn't even considered.
It's like that saying, it's not always what you know, but who you know. Though in this field, knowing your stuff definitely helps too.
Absolutely. Never stop learning. Renewable energy is constantly evolving, so stay curious, read industry publications, follow thought leaders on social media. The more you immerse yourself in this world, the more confident and prepared you'll be for whatever challenges and opportunities come your way.
So to sum it all up, passion, knowledge, a knack for problem solving, and a willingness to connect with others. Those are the ingredients for a truly electrifying career in renewable energy consulting.
And remember, you're not just building a career, you're building a more sustainable future for all of us.
And that's a pretty awesome gig, if you ask me. Well, that's a wrap on today's deep dive into the world of renewable energy consulting. We hope you're feeling inspired, informed, and ready to unleash your inner renewable energy superstar.
Until next time, remember, the future is bright, and it's powered by renewable energy.
This is The Deep Dive, signing off. And how you learn from those mistakes, because nobody's perfect, everybody makes them, right?
Exactly. It's all about what you do next.
Right.
So you want to show them that you can be resourceful, that you can maybe get a little creative when you need to.
So, like, don't just say, oh, I missed a deadline. Talk about how you figured out a way to get the project back on track.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe you had to rally the team, maybe you pulled an all-nighter, maybe you found a more efficient way to do things.
Yeah, show you're the kind of person who can handle a curveball.
Exactly, because let's face it, renewable energy projects, full of curveballs.
It's the truth. Okay, speaking of curveballs, this next question is all about keeping things on track. How do you ensure that renewable energy projects are completed on time and within budget? Because time is money, and no one wants a half-built solar farm just like sitting there.
It's all about organization and communication.
Right. So what are some concrete things that our listeners can say to really nail this question?
Talk about your process. Do you use project management software? Do you have a system for tracking deadlines and milestones?
Ooh, systems. I love a good system.
Everyone loves a good system, and it shows that you're organized and detail-oriented, which are essential qualities for this role.
Okay, so don't just say, I'm organized. Show them how you're organized.
Exactly. Give them an example of a time when you successfully managed a complex project. What were the challenges? How did you overcome them? What were the results?
Okay, so it's all about painting a picture with your words.
Exactly.
I like it. All right, one last question from RoleCatcher's Guide, and this one's all about looking ahead. How do you see the increasing demand for energy storage impacting the future of renewable energy consulting?
Oh, that's a good one. Energy storage is huge right now, and it's only going to become more important as we transition to a more sustainable energy future.
Because as we've already mentioned, the sun doesn't always shine, the wind doesn't always blow, so we need a way to store all that lovely renewable energy.
Exactly. And that's where energy storage comes in. Batteries, pumped hydro, all that good stuff.
So how does this impact the role of a renewable energy consultant?
Well, consultants are going to be on the front lines of advising clients on the best energy storage solutions for their needs. They'll need to be up to date on the latest technologies, costs, regulations, the whole 9 yards.
So it's not just about knowing about solar panels and wind turbines anymore.
It's about understanding the entire energy ecosystem and how all the pieces fit together.
And that's where that continuous learning comes in, right? Always be curious, always be expanding your knowledge base.
Exactly. The more you know, the more valuable you are as a consultant.
Love it. Okay, so we've talked about acing the interview, which is obviously a crucial first step. But let's say you nail it, you get the job, congratulations. Now what? What are some of the career paths our listeners can explore within this field?
Well, there are so many possibilities. You might find yourself drawn to a particular technology like solar or wind and become a specialist in that area. Or maybe you're more interested in the financial side of things, working on project financing and investment.
So there's a lot of room for specialization within this field.
Absolutely. You could also focus on policy work, advocating for renewable energy policies and incentives. Or maybe you're passionate about community outreach and education, working to raise awareness about the benefits of renewable energy.
So many options. It's like the renewable energy world is your oyster,
Mm.
but in a good way.
Exactly. There's a place for everyone in this field, no matter your skills or interests.
Speaking of skills, are there any certifications or professional organizations that our listeners should know about?
Oh, absolutely. Getting certified is a great way to demonstrate your expertise and boost your credibility in the field. The NABCEP certification is a great one for solar professionals, and there are similar certifications for wind energy and other renewable energy technologies.
And what about professional organizations? Are there any that you recommend?
Definitely. Joining organizations like the American Council on Renewable Energy, ACOR, or the Solar Energy Industries Association, SCIA, is a great way to network with other professionals, stay up to date on industry trends, and gain access to valuable resources.
It's like joining a club, but for people who are passionate about renewable energy.
Exactly. And it's a great way to meet like-minded people and build your professional network.
Awesome. So to sum it up, we've talked about how to ace the interview, we've explored different career paths within renewable energy consulting, and we've even touched on certifications and professional organizations. Is there anything else our listeners should keep in mind as they embark on this exciting career journey?
Well, I think the most important thing is to be passionate and stay curious.
Passion and curiosity. I love that.
Because this is a rapidly evolving field, and there's always something new to learn. So embrace the challenge, stay up to date on the latest technologies and trends, and never be afraid to ask questions.
So it's not just about finding a job, it's about joining a movement.
Exactly. A movement towards a more sustainable future for all.
And that's a pretty awesome thing to be a part of.
I couldn't agree more.
And it's a field that's only going to keep growing, right? As we all try to wean ourselves off fossil fuel.
Oh, absolutely. The future is bright for renewable energy.
So for anyone listening who's thinking, this sounds like my jam, what's one piece of advice, just one, to help them stand out in this field?
I'd say don't be afraid to reach out to people already working in the industry.
Networking.
Exactly. Go to conferences, even if they're virtual, join online forums, connect with people on LinkedIn. It's not always about what you know, but who you know.
But it helps to know a thing or two about renewable energy too, right?
What? Of course. Never stop learning. This is a field that's constantly evolving, so stay curious, do your research, be a sponge for knowledge.
Love that. Passion, curiosity, a little bit of networking savvy. Sounds like a recipe for success in the world of renewable energy consulting.
Absolutely. And remember, you're not just building a career, you're helping to build a more sustainable future.
And that's a pretty awesome feeling. Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive into the exciting world of renewable energy consulting. We hope you learned a ton and are feeling energized and ready to make your mark on this incredible field.
Until next time, keep those solar panels shining and those wind turbines turning.
This is The Deep Dive, signing off.